Hi, everybody. Um, it's been a really long time, and yeah, I just wanted to sit down and make a video. Also, do not have to. I do not have time to edit this video, so it's just going up right as it is, and that's totally okay. Um, Life has been way crazy. Like, so much has been happening. Work has been nuts, and I just haven't had time for anything. And I've really been wanting to make this video for a long time, and I have 2 seconds, so I'm totally gonna make it right now. And that is, I'm gonna tell you all about the results from the testing, which is super exciting and kind of anticlimactic. Anyways, we had a bunch of testing done, a bunch of blood work that I had done, and then me and Matt both had genetic testing done, and then I also had a saline ultrasound done. And the long and short of it is that it all came back normal. So yeah, we found out pretty quickly that my blood work came back normal, and then we moved on to the genetic testing. That was a whole month and a half long process. Just they had to get pre-approved through the insurance, and then they finally were like, yeah, you can go and get the testing done. And then we had to wait for forever to get that back, but it was super cool because they sent me a picture of my chromosomes, which, like, who can say they have a picture of their chromosomes? So that's pretty cool. And yeah, it came back normal, which is really awesome. We are really grateful for that. Then Matt had genetic testing done since mine came back normal, and his also came back normal. And then we moved on and did a saline ultrasound, which was like a crazy experience. I'll kind of go into a little bit of detail, I guess, of like what it was like, just for anyone who's like going through this or maybe will go through this. I'll just kind of go into what a saline ultrasound is like. So basically, for my saline ultrasound, I had to go to a fertility clinic to get it done because they didn't have like the equipment or something at the hospital. And so I ended up going down to Clearfield for it, to I think it was called the Reproductive Care Center. Basically what they did is they put so pretty much they, do the whole thing like they do when you're getting a pap smear done with what is that thing called? They stick it in and they like open it, and it is very painful. Then they stuck a catheter into my uterus, and there was like a bubble on the end of the catheter, and they like inflated it so that it would like lock off anything from coming out. And then they started squeezing in saline into my uterus and filling it up, and then they took some ultrasound pictures while they were doing that. So it was very painful, but also it was only like 5 minutes long once they actually got the catheter in. The catheter was definitely the most painful part. It was just weird. I don't even know how to describe it. It was just like the weirdest feeling. I was like, ah! But I made it through. It was very uncomfortable after because, everything that goes in has to come out. So that was fun. Yeah, anyways, that was that. So if you're going to have one of those done, just know it's painful, but it's really quick. And it's not like so painful that you can't do it. Like, you can do it. It's just painful. So you got this if you're going to do it, So yeah, that happened, and the nice thing about that test was that they were able to give me the results like in real time as they were doing it. So that was really nice because all the other testing has been like a few weeks later I hear back from them, and it's just like a long wait. So it was really nice because I could get the results right then, and they said everything looked good. They were mainly just looking at like the structure of my uterus to make sure that there wasn't any like polyps or fibroids, or sometimes you can have like an abnormally shaped uterus, and a lot of times it's like a heart-shaped uterus is what they call it. Anyways, they looked at all of that, and they said that mine looked good. There was a little bit of an indentation, but it wasn't like enough to be the problem. The people at the fertility clinic were so nice and such great. They were just really awesome. And so if I end up needing to get more testing done or needing to see like a reproductive endocrinologist, I think I would definitely go back to that clinic because they were just super kind. And like, it was just nice to have, I mean, at a reproductive care center, the only people they work with obviously are like people struggling to get pregnant and to deliver a baby and things like that. And so it was just so nice to have people who were like very aware of like what you're going through and very empathetic, sympathetic, whatever word. I always get those two confused. They were just like super kind. So that was really good. So pretty much they were like, yeah, that doesn't tell us why you've been having miscarriages either. So that was, I don't know. It's just like I just like don't want to miss the point that like we are so grateful that everything came back normal. Like it's a huge blessing, and I know that that doesn't happen for everyone. And it, like I've said this multiple times, but like through this whole process, it's kind of been like, do we want it to come back normal, or do we want there to be something wrong? Because if there's something wrong, then we could potentially fix it. And I mean, it is frustrating just to still not know what's going on and to be like, if everything's normal, then why does this keep happening? But we really are so grateful that everything came back normal, and we feel super blessed that that happened. So I don't want to miss that point. Anyways, so the next step, I guess, is tomorrow I'm meeting with the OBGYN. I actually ended up switching doctors, and now I'm super excited for the one I switched to. I think he'll be great. It's actually a guy, which I always thought I didn't want a guy doctor for OBGYN stuff, but I think he's going to be really good. So I'm going to see him tomorrow. We're just going to talk about, like, I just want to, like, talk to him to, like, let him make sure we're, like, on the same page with my whole situation and everything, and just to, like, find out what he wants me to do moving forward, and, like, if I was to get pregnant, like, what would happen. Like, is he gonna get me in for like blood work early on? Because like pretty much in my head, and maybe this is just me being like looking too far into it, I don't know, but pretty much in my head I feel like it's something, whatever is happening is something that happens after I'm pregnant. Because if everything came back normal right now and I'm not pregnant, then I feel like it's something that's going on when I become pregnant. So who knows, but I really am like hoping that I can get in for some blood work early on next time I'm pregnant, and that we can monitor like my hormones and things like that to make sure that everything's looking okay, and just to try and prevent anything else from happening. Also, I was able to talk to the maternal fetal medicine doctor that I saw like 4 months ago. That, I can't believe it's been that long. That's crazy. I was able to talk with them, and they said pretty much because he had told me that next time, like when I'm pregnant, that he could prescribe me heparin, which is a blood thinner. Yes, a blood thinner. And he had told me that he would prescribe me that probably, just because things with like blood clotting and stuff is very like a very common way that miscarriages happen. And so even though the blood work, they did test for that, but it came back normal. Even though that was the case, he said that it could just help to do that, and just to, you know, cross our T's and dot our I's. So I was able to talk with him about that, and they pretty much just said, like, when you're pregnant, call, and we'll get it figured out. So that's kind of like on the back burner right now, so that's good. Yeah, anyways, I just like feel super grateful that everything came back normal, and I'm like just grateful to know that my body is healthy, and I feel like I just want to be in the best spot mentally and physically, like next time I go into a pregnancy, and I just want to make sure that I think just knowing that I've done everything that I can do right now is going to be like a huge blessing going into like next time going into pregnancy and things. Yeah, and so also just wanting to like talk about like some, obviously I've said multiple times we're like super grateful and we've had lots of blessings, but we like saw a huge miracle, I guess, through this whole thing, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it just because I don't feel like I should like skip past this and not talk about it, because it was like a huge blessing for us. So when getting the before I start this, I'm going to just say that I'm going to do a video all about like the cost of everything, because I know going into it that I was like, how much is this going to cost? How much is this going to cost? Like, so for someone else that's going through this, I definitely want to share that information. But just a small little tidbit. So like I mentioned, they had to get pre-approved through the insurance before doing the genetic testing. And we had been told that it was going to be about like $500 to do the genetic testing. And they got pre-approved through my insurance, and it was all like good, and I had already met my deductible because of all this stuff. So it was like not even going to be like, we were kind of just like, okay, cool. And then, but Matt's insurance said that they wouldn't pay for it, which it was like really annoying because they were like, it's an exploratory like procedure pretty much is what they said, which I'm like, how is genetics exploratory? Like genetics is probably like the least exploratory thing, because it's like, once you know what your genetics are, it's not like they're going to change tomorrow, you know? So I was kind of bugged by that. But they were like, and also because I was under 35. They said if I was over 35, they would pay for like his genetic testing, which was really weird. Anyways, so, but we still were like, well, we want to do it. So Matt got his done too, and I had called, our genetic counselor had been like, okay, you can call this number and they'll tell you like an exact number of what you're going to pay. So I called and they were like, oh, it's going to be, I think they said like $170. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's such a huge blessing. Like $170, that's like less than half of what we thought we were going to pay, because we thought we were going to pay like somewhere around $500. So I was like, yes, that's awesome. So anyways, a little bit of time passes. We get back the like explanation of benefits from my insurance, which remember, I didn't have to pay for it, but they still sent me an explanation of benefits just saying like what the insurance was covering pretty much, which was all of it. And it was like over $1,000 for the genetic testing. And I was like, that's like super sweet that mine, like we don't have to pay. But then I was like, oh no, like Matt got his done and we were told that it was going to be 170. And like on the explanation of benefits, one of the little like items, I guess, was 170. And I was like, oh no, like did they tell us the wrong amount? And so I was super stressed. Anyways, yesterday we got like it was like a bill from the hospital for Matt's stuff, but pretty much it just said that like everything was paid for pretty much. Like we didn't have to pay anything. That was like over $1,000, and we were just so grateful, and that was a total miracle. And I just like, it just makes me really feel really blessed, and I just know that Heavenly Father is aware of us and everything that we're going through, and that He knows that we're doing all that we can. And I know that as we're doing all that we can, He's doing everything. He's really the one that's allowing us to do all that we can. And He is going to make everything okay. And like, He knows what we need. And it was just such a cool blessing and miracle. And we just feel really blessed. And yeah, so anyways, that was just a quick update. I really hope to keep making YouTube videos because I really love doing it. It's just been such a fun experience, and I feel like it's also been like a huge blessing for me, and it's like been a healing thing for me just to be able to talk about the things I'm feeling. And I don't really care whoever watches this or how many people watch it, because that's not what I'm doing it for, but it's just been a huge I guess therapeutic thing for me. It's been really awesome, and so I hope to keep making videos. And I do, like I said, I want to do one about like the cost of things, and just a few more about some like random things I've thought of. So yeah, I'm glad that you watched this, and I hope that you can remember that God loves you and that He's blessing you too. See ya!